Good to have you on the show. Now, first of all, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Because it's an unusual... Sudeikis?
Yeah, Sudeikis. Yeah,
Sudeikis.
Yeah, it's Lithuanian, although I don't know much about my heritage.
Because I said CB ass earlier.
Yeah, no, that'll fly. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm used to everything. No, I get a bunch of different things, but and it's awesome hearing you say it.
Thank you.
Even though a little wrong, but one of the best. No,
very passive aggressive of you, but I accept your judgment.
No, I'm sure you'll get it right next time. But
there'll be no next time. Yes.
Wasn't gone. Where am I?
I'd kill for one of those.
But you know, one of the neatest things about working at SNL is getting to hear, you know, Don Pardo say your name.
The great Don Pardo.
Oh, what a voice! Jason Sudeikis. Like, it's just so great. And what was so funny was when I first came on, because it is a difficult name, he's very, very sensitive to that. And he comes up to me and he's like, you know, am I saying it right? Is it Sudeikis? And I'm like, no, it's actually Sudeikis. Sudeikis? And I'm like, no, it's not that.
You're getting further away, Don.
Further away, Don. It's like Sudeikis. And so he's just, all right. Sudeikis! I'm like, that's it. And then he just sort of wandering away, just saying my name over and over. Sudeikis, 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 Jason Sudeikis. You just
I
hear
saw
him.
him at the commissary days later, looking at a muffin going, Sudeikis!
No, I don't doubt it. The guy loves it, and he practices. It doesn't come easy.
Now, I'm curious, of course, the audition process for Saturday Night Live has always mystified me a bit because it's such a nerve-wracking experience, I would think.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You get the call, and they say, all right, we're thinking of putting you in the cast of Saturday Night Live, this legendary show, and you go there. I mean, what did you audition with? What did you go in there with?
They usually make you do, like, some original characters and impressions, and, like, and some of the impressions, actually, none of the things that I've done in my audition, because I auditioned 2 separate times, have I done on the show, and sometimes that occurs because someone already does it on the show. So, like, I sort of, you know, goof around and do like a decent, you know, I do a Dr. Phil impression. I will declare it decent, as arrogant as that may be. But you know, and I can't do it because Daryl Hammond, who does a much better impression, believe it or not, already does it. So like, it's wasted. It's wasted. And you know, it's just simply me just sort of, you know what you need to do. You need to understand that sometimes people don't get the way that the things they want. You know, it's just a lot. And all I'm really doing is just my high school basketball coach that used to, and then just so lo and behold, a guy named Dr. Phil came in that happened to talk and act and bully people just like my high school basketball coach. But he used to be, you know, Sudeikis, where are you supposed to be? It's like on the baseline, sir. Then get there. What the hell are you doing up there? You look more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Like my high school coach used to say that.
I've never met someone who actually said things like that.
He said it, and if you asked him, I bet he'd tell you he wrote it too.
Yeah,
like, he's one of those guys. But you know, in a good way, in a nice way. But you know, Dr. Phil, you know, it's all this type of advice that makes no sense at the same time. You know, you can get people to do what you want. Sure, you can get a dog to bark by grabbing on his ding dong, but you ain't always gonna get the kind of bark you want. You know, you can sitting there talking all that son of a gun.
Stop it. Stop it. You were down there a long time.
Well, you know, the dog likes
I had to stop
The dog likes it. Yeah.
Your imaginary dog disgusts me.
Get some more there, boy. There you go.
Did you ever get to meet Dr. Phil?
No, I've never met Dr. Phil, not yet. I need his help, but I have not met him. The closest I come is a degree of separation story, one of those, which, you know, was a buddy of mine lives down in Texas. He was down there, you know, and he's going across the street. He's got some headphones on, just sort of listening, you know, to that sort of dazing out. And starting to cross the street, goes out during a red light, and here's this, you know, this loud honk, like, get out of the way, idiot! And he looks up, and there's a yellow Ferrari, looks up a little further, big middle finger, looks up over to the, you know, left of that finger, and it's Dr. Phil. Tell him to get out of the way.
Wait. Who, I mean, you've already won when you're in a Ferrari and you're honking the horn and a pedestrian to get out of the way. You've won. To then give them the finger. Just seems like a new low.
That's why he's one of the great ones. That's why he's one of the great ones. He takes that next step.
Then he stopped the Ferrari, got out, and kicked your friend to death.
And threw a $100 bill at him. Just in there, take that. Stay out of the road, dummy.
I just have to ask you, okay, you haven't been at Saturday Night Live long, but quickly, favorite celebrity interaction moment? And I mean, like, behind the scenes.
Okay, well, you know, you get asked that question a lot. I would say Snoop Doggy Dogg. I mean, I've got to see some awesome people, you know, from Al Sharpton and Will Ferrell, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, but Snoop Dogg is the coolest. Dude, I used to write for the show. I wrote for the show for 2 years before I actually got to be a cast member. And when, as you probably know, because you wrote there, you get to meet with them.
Sure.
And you get to talk about ideas and stuff with them. And you get to hang out with them for like 30, 45 minutes sometimes, like we did on this one Tuesday night. And he just drops little pearls of wisdom, just as cool as can be. Like, we're listening to his songs, like some of his great hits, like Gin and Juice, or Nothing But a G Thing.
Sure.
And you know, some of the great ones.
Yeah.
And you know, he's like, you know, you gotta, you know, I put a cover on every album because you gotta look forward. You gotta look backward before you look forward. You know, all this little knowledge. And then at the end, my buddy Rich, who we were sitting there talking, just joking around, was like, you know, Snoop, maybe Saturday after the show, we got a party. And Snoop, like he should, he goes, for shizzle. Right? And then Rich joking around goes, you know, hey, maybe we'll get a hoe? And Snoop just on a dime goes, why get only one hoe? Why not 2 or 3? he goes, hey, but that's not it. It gets even better. Why get only one hoe? Why not 2 or 3? Don't put limits on your life. Dream big, you may never wake up.
It was a great sentiment.
It's like, I couldn't believe it. And then he got up and walked out, and Rich and I just stood there.
Better than that.
Just sat there. We're like, we got to call Urban Outfitters, get that on a T-shirt, make some money. How do we turn this into
right
cash?
up there with readings are right, not a privilege. Yeah.
Put it in like a Vista view, Mountain Vista, Excel to Accessories. You know, Snoop says, dream big, you may never wake up.
Yeah. This weekend, Lindsay Lohan is hosting Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
it's gonna
who
be good.
is she?
Yeah, I'll tell you later. And musical guest Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam,
Pearl Jam. So that'll be good. Jason Sudeikis. I'm gonna keep pushing him. We'll be right back. Daniel Powder. Stick around.